They say good things come to those who wait. Well, guess I'm gonna be at least an hour late. You've been so good to me, allow me to demonstrate. Hey, real loving, you don't have to wait. Now come closer, yeah. You pick me up, keep me up, keep me up when I'm feeling under, when I'm feeling undone. Oh secret, oh secret, oh secret. You're the one I've been keeping. You are the one, you are the one, yeah. Oh.
And boom! Welcome to another episode of Doek and Ty, and just like that, we're back at Grey Wall Conversations. We haven't been here in a while. I think this is the first episode of the year that we're back here. My name is Kylie, aka Ty. This is my beautiful wife Bonang, aka Doek, aka my best friend, aka Wifey, aka Sneka Sahaboka, aka what's your other aka? AKA she who is mad at me, AKA what's the other one? AKA Booba, AKA what's the other one? I'm trying to get all your pet names.
No.
AKA I nearly said that other one, the one that you don't like. Starts with an S. But yes, thank you so much for watching another episode of Doek and Ty. I'm excited to be back at our regular spot. I know a lot of people are saying, when are you coming back to Grey Wall Conversations? And it's kind of difficult to do that when you're in limbo and traveling. And wherever we get like a Grey Wall, we're always tempted to say, hey, should we shoot here? Should we do something here? But yeah, man, we're finally back. How was vacation? I saw you out there with the elephants and baby giraffes. How was it? How was your whole experience?
Baby giraffes.
Yes, babe. How was your experience of vacationing?
It was nice. It's nice to actually explore your own country. I'm sure a lot of us have various places that we'd like to visit in country, but due to finances, we are unable to. However, then COVID hit, and somehow we are able to save up and afford these places that we wouldn't normally be able to afford.
I sold a kidney, bro. A lot of people are asking us, how are the prices?
Kidney.
The prices are they're still not so friendly. I think. Okay, let me give a bit of context. I've been to countries where when I talk to the locals, okay, if you're coming here as a foreigner, there are certain prices that you are charged, standard prices. But if you're a local, only like a national ID and whatever they use to identify themselves
national
in that country.
ID or like a resident permit?
Yes, you get local prices. So I'm just hoping that more Botswana we also get to a point where we have local prices for the locals to be able to travel, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So it would be great to see a lot of Botswana out and traveling and just seeing that country.
True, because in my how many years of life, it was the first time I saw a giraffe. But I live in a country with the big five, so it's weird. But I guess such is life. Like, it would be nice if, I don't know, going to these places or these national parks was incorporated maybe into our curriculum, our school trips. It would be nice.
Yeah. And speaking of COVID, so shout out to COVID for making that possible. No sponsors, just COVID,
Wow, really?
Leveling the playing field. So shout out to COVID. That's one of the positives that came out of it. And speaking of COVID, during this period, I think from last year till now, we've been actually attending quite a few weddings. Of course, we've been trying to social distance and travel only when it's necessary. So the weddings that we attended are those that we really had to be there, because close family, close friends, you really have to be a part of that ceremony. So we wanted to take some time out today just to talk about our COVID wedding experiences, how weddings are now different from, compared to when there was no COVID. And I think so far we've attended maybe 3-4 weddings during COVID.
Firstly, let's get rid of the whole COVID weddings things. I don't think that's nice. It's a wedding during the COVID pandemic, but having your wedding labeled as a COVID wedding is not nice. Like, imagine if you had a measles wedding, or if you had like a malaria wedding. It's not nice. Like, think about it from that perspective.
I mean, you're overthinking.
It's a wedding during the COVID pandemic. Yes, that's all it is. It's not a COVID wedding.
I think you're overthinking.
COVID.
All right.
Yes. That being said, so we've attended quite a few weddings during the COVID-19 pandemic, and how are they? How are the weddings you attended?
I'll start with what I liked and what I didn't like, right?
Wow. Okay, start with what you didn't like. Let's end it on like a high note.
Okay, what I didn't like is the fact that if you want to get married now, you can't have everybody that you want to have at your wedding. You know, in Africa, in Botswana, I'll speak for Botswana. A wedding is like everybody gets together, even people that you don't know. The whole community comes. You don't send out an invitation. That's not how it works. If food goes sound or music somewhere, you see a tent, it's a wedding. You're going there. You don't need an invite. So I used to think that was a lot, but I've come to realize that it's really part of our culture. It's ingrained in us, and it's part of who we are. So I miss that. I miss seeing a tent and the sounding and being able to walk in that direction and find a wedding. I'm like, yeah, I'm in. What? So that part of just bringing the community together and meeting new people and seeing people that you haven't seen in a while, I feel like I missed that. It's not there anymore in weddings and what are happening during the COVID-19 pandemic. Makes sense. I'm not saying I would have it any other way, for obvious reasons, but I'm saying I miss that. And then, what's the other thing that I don't like about them? Covering faces, man. I don't know. I'm tired of masks, hey? I won't lie. I'm tired. Imagine
Are you also tired of life?
I'm not saying I would have it any other way, of course, because of the pandemic, but I'm tired of covering my face up, I get it. I get how it works.
I understand, my love. It's your best feature.
Yes, this is the money maker, so I'm tired of carrying it up. And also not just for me, but also banyaji, the bride and the groom. That's like the most the best day of your life, right? If I can put it like that.
One of.
Yeah, one of. Like, it's a significant aspect of your life and it's an important milestone for you to cross. And I know ladies like getting their face beat on. So imagine now your face beat. Your face has been beaten or bit. But then you have to put on a mask. I mean, that's a party killer for me. But I understand why you have to wear masks and social distance. So I feel like the whole experience has changed from those little compliments. People still get them off, yes, but they don't really see you. They don't get to see all of that work that you put in. So for me, I think those are some of the things that I don't like about COVID weddings. That one doesn't like saying that. Yeah, COVID weddings. So what don't you like about them?
That's going to be very difficult to pinpoint because there isn't much not to like. That's the thing. Like, yes, numbers are reduced, less people, but I've always loved small weddings. I like small, intimate gatherings. And then apart from the small numbers, I like it when just a small gathering, symbolic of who you are. I get that people who like extravagance, and that's you. So unfortunately for people who are quite extravagant and want to have the biggest wedding that anyone has ever seen, came COVID. So I'd say, for me, I appreciate the small, intimate gatherings. I appreciate, what else? I think the downside of this is culture-wise, anyone can come to like the traditional wedding, like patlo mahadi, culturally. Hela ha go teng ho na le patlo, banna basadi ra apara dijale, ra apara dibaki, and we go ra go batla moetsi, and ra gola moetsi, ra gola more. But because of COVID, now there needs to be like specific people who are selected, and I think with that the aim is not to have anyone feel like they're left out, but you're going to have family who feel left out, because I think in the beginning
50?
before then, in the beginning when weddings were allowed after lockdown, it was 10 people. I don't know if it's 10 per family or if it was like 5, but it was 10 people. So now imagine having more uncles, more aunts, and then from that you're supposed to just pick a few. So I think that would then lead to, issues of why them and not me. So I think that's one thing that...
Can I tell you a secret?
I think that's one thing that because of COVID...
Let me tell you a secret. Somebody told me this. Yes, and then you just take those ones that you don't suspect. I could be seeing our cultural things. Yeah.
I know. So yes, that's an aspect of culture. And then normally I get it, we would normally see these women wearing the traditional attire, and they normally form like a long line, and it's, how do I put this? It's aesthetically pleasing, it's picturesque. So now we're robbed of that, in a sense that now there's only 10 people in a line. And you don't have that picture of that long line, previous people who've been married by or gentlemen like a small number. So I think because of COVID, then we've had to cut back on numbers, which is great, but there's also an aspect that you're missing out on culturally. And
right.
Yes.
I want us to get here now. In my own personal opinion, I don't have the statistics or anything, but I think I've seen there's been like a wedding boom since the lockdown, right? I've been seeing like weddings on the rise, especially after after the lockdown. I think a lot of people have been getting married. And here's my question to you. If it was you, right, if you were not married yet, would you want to get married during the pandemic, or would you want to wait until we sort out the vaccines and everything goes back to normal in a way? What would you want to do?
I'd get married during the pandemic. The amount of money we would save. The amount of money we would save we would have saved with a COVID wedding. Yeah. I would honestly prefer to get married during this time.
Yeah. So I wanted to throw that back at you, what do you want to do? Like maybe you've been thinking about getting married, you've been thinking about proposing. Maybe this could possibly be the time for you to do it now while you can, because...
I mean, let's think about it. Less people to feed. Number one, less people to feed. Food is expensive. Food is an expense, guys.
It brings the community
together. But now you have less community to feed. It's wonderful, but expense-wise for the couple that are getting married, it's really helped quite a bit, because some people are not able to get married because demands from both families leave the couple financially, because they're like, we want a tent that fits 300 people. So a tent with decor for 300 people, that's no joke. That is no joke. And now imagine having to feed them. Imagine dikgomo gore go tshwanetse go bolawa dikgomo di le kae yaanong. So in a sense, COVID has allowed people who have been wanting to get married without that huge financial burden, without having to, say, take out a loan to get married. Because now it's expensive, yes, to get married, but it's less expensive. You could, maybe then you couldn't afford it, and now you can sort of slightly afford it, like hustle here and there, you know, shift a few things here and there, and it's possible. So I think that it's led to more marriages, more weddings taking place that wouldn't have necessarily taken place because of the financial burden that would have been placed on the couple.
Nice. So somebody watching this, would you encourage them to do it now? Now, I actually have a couple of people who want to see get married, like a couple of my friends. Odd, O's, Auntie. Guys, this is like the ideal time to do it, you know?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, especially for young people. I feel like, hey, if you have the resources and you want to ball out on your wedding day, have that exorbitant wedding.
Ball out on a budget.
Yes, ball out. Wait until the pandemic is done. But if you're a young person, like what Bonam was saying, I know a couple of young people who want to get married or want to get into the institution of marriage, but the problem is always resources, finances, and samahadi. You have to feed, you have to transport, you have to do all those things. So yeah, I think from me as Thai, I'd say ideal time to get married. I'm still a sucker for culture. I still want to see a huge tent. I still want to see people get together. And I'm a fan of people, especially the bride and groom, bumping into people, Baba Sabiting at that wedding and just being surprised. But hey, you know, I like that. I think that also adds to the flavor of an African wedding, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But if you're a young person and you've always wanted to do it,
I'm wondering,
why not?
I'm wondering now that you said that. I'm wondering, do people still get those? You know, there's calling along. There's people who, you know, go to the bride and groom and they're like, chicken or this.
Do
you still get them during like this time? Because way then there was like gang people. Like a wedding was open gate, everybody comes in. So now when numbers are limited and you have to register, you ask yourself, do you think those problems still persist?
The meat is already done.
Alright, so then what are the positives or well, I think you mentioned some of the positives that you took away, but looking at it positives wise, what are the positives that you love about having weddings during the COVID pandemic?
For me, well, I'm always looking out for young people my age. So I've already said that, you know, if you want to do it now, do it. Financial aspect. And when I mentioned how it's intimate, I'm not a big fan of like small things. I like including, I like including everyone. So I think that the biggest takeaway from it will always be the financial aspect. Tell the truth. You get to contain your cost a bit better. So guys, if you've been cohabiting for about 5-6 years, let's just do the right thing. You know?
I think different strokes for different folks. Like some people get along quite well, and then day one after getting married, they're like, why is it so loud?
I won't do
that. So my point is, marriage, yes, is a huge part, but marrying for your own reasons that are right for you. Don't marry because you feel pressure.
Because it's COVID.
Don't marry because get married. Marry because you want to. It's something that you actually want to do, because at the end of the day, you have to put in the work. So if it's not something that you want to do, are you going to put in the work? What are you going to do when it gets tough? So in essence, just because it's COVID, just because there's a pandemic, doesn't force you to do anything that you are not ready for.
But here's where I differ with my wife. I'm a big fan of Start the key. I am that person. So I guess that's where we complement each other. She's more of a 2-year plan, 3-year plan, 4-year plan. I'm like, hey, bruh, if we woke up today and we ate, we move. Huh? We go.
All we're saying is, guys, now we're rooming. Like, whenever you are ready, talk to us. We will try our level best to show up.
Yeah.
And shout out to, I was going to just shout out to Abby.
Yeah.
Abby's a day one.
Yeah. She's always commenting, even commenting.
So, I don't know if Abby's married yet. If not, we will rock up. If you are, tell us when is the 10-year anniversary. You know, we will rock up because you're a real G.
And just like that, I think we've come to the end of our discussion today on Doek and Tag Real Conversations. Once again, thank you so much for checking it out. And just leave in the comments what you picked up from this. Are you planning on getting married? Are you never getting married? What are the reasons? How do you think COVID is benefiting or maybe taking away from traditional African weddings? My name is Ty. She's Doek. And thank you for watching Real Conversations.
Thank you to everyone who has subscribed, liked, and followed the page. We are very grateful to have you, and we are back with Real Conversations. It's been a while. Let's interact. Let's get back to it. We've had a bit of a
break.
Sabbatical. So let's get back at it. If there are any issues that you want us to delve into, to discuss, add us any more thing. Let's get to know each other. Let's get deeper to issues that you care about.
Boom. Doek and Tag.